She won't say it out loud, not with words, not even when she wants you more than air. But every woman carries a secret language, and if you can't read it, you lose her, slowly, silently, forever. See, most men walk around thinking attraction is about looks, money, game. But what if I told you? She's not testing your charm. She's testing your presence, not asking for words, but watching for how you move. She's leaving clues, and most of you are blind to them. This isn't a dating video. This is initiation into the unspoken, the primal, the spiritual, into the 10 signals she sends when she wants you deeply, but refuses to spell it out. And once you understand them, you'll never be confused again, never chase again, never lose her without knowing why. So listen close, because by the end of this video, you'll either become unforgettable, or you'll stay part of the 99% of men who never learned to see. Welcome to Darkside Demeanor. Subscribe now, because what you're about to hear, no one else is saying it like this. Number 1. Start with this. She'll never say it, but she's screaming for it. Inside, most men walk through life like they're half asleep, with their eyes open. Not blind, just untrained. No one handed you the lens. No one taught you how to read what's not being said. You learned how to talk, how to text, how to chase, but never how to see. See what? See her. Not the version she posts online. Not the one wearing the heels and perfume and pretending she's fine. The one who's quietly begging you to notice. Not her body, not her face, but the language she speaks without words. Let me break it down. Slow, sharp, and surgical. Most women speak in code, and most men never decode it. See, she was trained differently. Since the sandbox days, she learned to express pain in silence, to hide her hunger behind hints, to test you with softness, not aggression, to say, "I'm fine," when she's falling apart inside. It ain't a game. It's cultural training, emotional conditioning, and evolutionary wiring, all wrapped into one tight, explosive package. You're looking for direct lines, but she's playing in symbols. You're waiting for her to say it out loud, but that moment will never come. And if you miss it, she won't yell, she won't fight. She'll just disengage silently, emotionally, mentally, physically, gone. You'll be left wondering why things felt off, why her eyes got colder, why her texts got shorter, why one day you woke up next to her and felt like you were sleeping next to a stranger. That's what happens when you don't speak her silent language. This ain't manipulation. This is survival. Let's be real here. Most men think, if she wanted something, she'd tell me. That's naive. That's how you get outplayed in the game of intimacy. Because women don't operate like you. Their radar works on vibe, not logic. And they're watching, always watching, how in tune you are. Not with the world, with her. She's testing you constantly, but not with attitude, with subtleties. The way she breathes when she's uncomfortable. The way she lingers near you when she wants attention but won't ask for it. The way she jokes about other guys, just to see if you care enough to respond with fire or composure. You call it mixed signals. She calls it, "Are you even awake, my guy?" Darkside Demeanor is giving you access. This is sacred intel. This ain't no red pill pickup artist algorithm chasing fluff. This is ancestral level insight. Spiritual warfare dressed in daily skin. Stoic, strategic, real. We're not here to impress women. We're here to understand them, to see what other men overlook, to move in silence but operate with deadly precision. You ever wonder why some guys, quiet, unassuming, still get loyalty, devotion, fire? It's not luck. It's not money. It's presence. It's knowing what she needs before she even forms the words. Here's the real secret no one told you. There's a map to what she wants, but it ain't in her words. It's in her patterns. And if you've got eyes to see, you become the rarest man she's ever met. Because most men are trying to win her, but the real ones read her. She doesn't want the loudest guy in the room. She wants the one who knows when she's tired before she says it, when she wants space without a fight, when to touch her without asking, when to stand up without being told. That's not simp behavior. That's mastery. And trust me, when she feels that, you don't have to ask for loyalty. She gives it. Because you become the man she doesn't have to explain herself to. And that's rare. Now ask yourself this. Are you watching or are you guessing? Do you wait to be told what she needs, or do you pick it up from her eyes, her pauses, her changed rhythm? Because the ones who wait to be told, they always show up late. And the ones who feel her before she speaks, those are the ones she falls into. Don't believe me? Pay attention next time. When a woman starts acting off, starts dressing different, speaking shorter, touching more, she's not being random. She's giving you a puzzle piece. The question is, are you man enough to solve it? Number 2, the silent desire, attuned presence. Let me say something most men can't handle. She ain't testing your money, your abs, or your car. She's testing your awareness, your presence, your ability to feel her energy shift before she even knows what she's feeling. That's the real battlefield. And 90% of dudes are losing, not because they're weak, but because they're distracted. See? Status might catch her eye, but presence, that holds her soul. Now here's where it gets deep. You think being a good man is about doing big stuff, right? Nah, bro. That's surface level. That's what dudes with no inner game do. The ones who win her respect, her softness, her loyalty, they know. When she walks in the room a little quieter than usual, it means something. When she touches her hair more often, she might be nervous. When she starts talking about someone else's problems, she's really talking about hers. Women don't say it directly. They leak emotions through microsignals, tone changes, eye darts, the rhythm of her voice. You miss those? You ain't present. You're just pretending. She doesn't want a robot who waits for instructions. She wants a tuned-in animal who feels the unspoken before it explodes into the spoken. Real presence is psychic-like perception. You want to know the real reason most relationships die? Because the man stopped noticing. He stopped seeing the invisible signs that told her, I'm burning out. I'm tired of feeling unseen. I want you to pay attention without me begging. And once a woman hits that point, she may stay in your bed, but her heart starts walking away. Now here's where it flips. You do the small things without her asking. You're not just present. You're etched into her nervous system. That's why when you remember that small story she told you while half asleep, or you pick up on that look she gave you at dinner when something felt off, she melts. Why? Because you're showing her the rarest trait in the modern man. You're awake. The eyes of the Stoic. See everything. React to nothing. Presence isn't just about being physically near her. You could be lying next to her every night and still be emotionally absent as hell. Real presence is when your awareness fills the room like smoke. It wraps around her, feels her mood before her lips even move. And here's where that Stoic energy kicks in. You're not flinching when she's upset. You're not reacting when she tries to provoke you. You're watching, with stillness, like a sniper who never blinks. As Epictetus laid it down, we have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so that we may listen twice as much as we speak. You don't jump to conclusions. You observe, you hold, you listen. That silence, that stillness, to her, it's safety, it's power, it's masculinity without chaos. Women speak in frequency. Are you tuned in? You ever been in a room where you felt tension before anyone said a word? That's how women operate 24/7. She's broadcasting energy all the time. Her vibe is the message. But here's the part you never learned in school. Only a man who's cleared his inner noise can hear her frequency. You got anxiety, distraction, guilt. You'll miss her signals every time. But when you're grounded, present, you don't need her to explain. You read it in her breath, her blink, the way she holds her damn fork. That's next level masculinity. It's not loud, it's not performative, it's precise, quiet, potent. She doesn't want a man who explodes. She wants a man who absorbs, not a storm, a still lake that reflects every part of her, without judgment. The small acts, that's what echoes forever. Let me tell you something only the OGs know. It's never about the roses. It's about the fact that you remembered she likes wildflowers because her grandmother used to pick them. It's not about the I love you. It's the moment you saw she was tired and ran the bath without a word. You buy her a diamond? Cool. You listen to the pain behind her fake smile and pull her in close when she's faking strength. That's what gets into her bones. Because she doesn't want a show. She wants to be seen in the shadows. The reason she pulls away? You missed the moment. Here's how it works. She gives you a micro invitation. You ignore it. Too busy, too distracted, too wrapped in your own world. She doesn't scream. She doesn't argue. She just lowers her output, withdraws her light. And you think, she's just moody. Nah, bro. You missed the signal, and now she's building walls. But when you're present, you see it in real time. You step in, not like a savior, but like a sensor. You touch her lower back when she's overthinking. You pour the tea when her body language says, I've had enough. You bring stillness when her whole world feels like fire. And suddenly, she exhales. She trusts. And that's when she gives. You're not supposed to fix her. Just feel her. She's not asking for you to solve all her problems. She's asking you to be so locked in to her soul's rhythm that she doesn't feel like she's walking through life alone. That's the gift of the attuned masculine. He doesn't speak first. He notices first. He notices how the room shifts when she walks in. He notices what she hides when she smiles. He notices what she needs before she begs for it. And that, my brother, is a skill that doesn't come from books. It comes from discipline, from stillness, from caring without control. Number 3, the power of touch, the unspoken language of real ones. Let's cut the noise. You ever wonder why a woman can laugh at your jokes, enjoy your company, even talk about the future with you, yet still feel distant, disconnected, like something's missing? It's this. It's touch. But not the kind they teach in magazines. Not that clumsy, overeager, let me rub your shoulder while I try to cop a feel nonsense. I'm talking about ancient contact. I'm talking about the type of touch that reaches below the flesh. The kind that hits her nervous system like a memory. One she didn't even know she missed. The kind of energy exchange that doesn't speak English, but her body understands it immediately. Touch isn't physical. It's spiritual warfare done with skin. Read that again. When done right. Touch is deeper than language. It's telepathy through fingertips. You ain't just touching her muscles. You're touching her story. The stress she buried. The armor she had to wear all day. The unspoken tension locked up in her shoulders, in her spine, in that part of her she won't even mention unless she trusts you deep. And you don't just see it. You feel it before she says it. That's what separates boys who want something from men. who give her something she didn't know she needed. Let's get into the biocode. This ain't just vibes, it's chemical alchemy. Touch, intentional, grounded, safe touch, triggers oxytocin. That's the bonding hormone. It lowers cortisol. That's the stress hormone. It spikes serotonin and dopamine. That's calm, trust, pleasure, grounded happiness. You touch her the right way. Non-sexual but present, mindful, masculine, and her entire biology shifts. Her breath slows, her eyes soften, her thoughts clear out like smoke rising. That's why one slow graze of her hair, when she's overwhelmed, can calm her faster than a 40-minute conversation. That's why a quiet, grounding hand on her lower back in a crowded space can say, "I got you," without ever speaking it. It's primal code, written before language, before culture, before lies. This is why most men fail. They touch like they're trying to get something. Neediness kills the signal. She can feel it the second it happens. That subtle lean in with hidden expectation. That fake, casual arm touch that's secretly begging for attention. That quick squeeze meant to turn her on instead of slow her down. You're not soothing her. You're scratching your own itch and calling it affection. Stop that. She doesn't want a man who needs her skin. She wants a man whose touch holds energy, not demand. You bring that kind of presence, you stop being a man she has to manage. You become the space she returns to. Massage done right? That's not soft. That's high-level strategy. Most men here give her a massage and imagine some clumsy oil session with awkward hands and a hidden agenda. You want to make her trust you down to the bone? Set the scene like a fine ritual. Low lighting, no distractions. Your full attention in your palms, no rush, no plan to escalate, just presence. You start at the shoulders, not to impress her, but to drain her tension. You press slow, intentional. You breathe with her, syncing up like waves, hitting the same shore. You watch her breath shift. You listen to the silence between her words. You feel when her muscles start letting go of something deeper than fatigue, something emotional. That's not massage. That's fucking medicine. That's the kind of memory her body will store like a tattoo, whether y'all last or not. But here's the twist. The most powerful touches aren't the obvious ones. It's that casual hand you place on her lower back when you walk past her in the kitchen. It's brushing her hair out of her face after a long day, saying nothing, just being there. It's the way you grip her hand a little firmer when she's overthinking and doesn't know how to ask for help. These are the micro movements that speak louder than declarations. Because anyone can say, "I love you." Anyone can touch when they're aroused. Anyone can fake affection when it's convenient. But only the attuned man, only the present man. He knows how to touch when there's nothing to gain. He touches just to remind her that she's not alone in this life. And when you do that, you go from guy I'm dating to place I exhale into. What makes touch hit differently? It's the energy underneath it. If your mind's scattered, your emotions all over the place, your grip will repel her. But when your energy is rooted, calm, unfazed, your hand becomes a transmitter. She feels your calm like a sedative. She feels your attention like a shield. She feels your presence like a fucking drug. And don't get it twisted. This kind of power ain't flashy. It's quiet, like a bomb before it explodes, like thunder in the distance. Touch her like you're not just touching a body, but protecting a soul. Let that sink in. Because when you really touch her, with your palms, your breath, your energy, you're saying, "I see you. I feel you. I got you." And that's rarer than anything you'll find in books or apps or advice videos. You don't become her fantasy. You become her effing sanctuary. She comes home overwhelmed. She doesn't want more words. She doesn't need another question. She's exhausted from thinking. What she craves is to feel you. Your stillness, your control, your grounded masculine energy. She wants to lie on your chest and forget about the world. Feel your arms and remember, she doesn't have to fight today. Because you're here. Because you know what to do without being told. That's the real seduction. The kind no one teaches. That's the real power of touch. Number 4. Her craving for the masculine stillness. The strength that doesn't speak, but commands everything. Let's make one thing brutally clear. When she's unraveling, when her emotions are spilling everywhere like water from a shattered glass, when her words are loud, but her soul is begging for silence, she doesn't need a reaction. She needs your fucking stillness. And if you don't know what that means, it's probably why she stopped trusting you. You don't fix a woman's storm by bringing thunder. That's what boys do. That's what guys do when they feel uncomfortable seeing emotion and try to shut it down with logic, solutions, or worse, ego. You say things like, "Why are you being so emotional right now?" Just calm down. You're overthinking. And each of those feels like a slap to her nervous system. Not because you're trying to hurt her, but because you're making her more alone inside the chaos. She's not asking for answers. She's testing you without even realizing it. She's saying, "Can you sit with me in the fire?" without trying to extinguish it. Stoicism wasn't designed for silence. It was designed for storms. Understand this. Stoicism ain't about being cold or numb. It's not about detachment or apathy. It's about control over self, when the external world loses its fawning mind. That includes her world. Marcus Aurelius didn't say, "Avoid chaos." He said, "Be unmoved by it." So when she's breaking down, spiraling, crying, venting, pacing, over-talking, that's not your cue to react. That's your cue to root down. You breathe slower. You speak less. You watch more. Your body becomes still, like a mountain refusing to bow to wind. Because she doesn't need someone to match her storm. She needs a man who becomes the calm center of it. She's not looking for control. She's testing for containment. Containment isn't dominance. It's the art of holding space without controlling the outcome. See, she's carrying emotional energy that feels too big for her. And she wants to know, can you hold it when she can't? Can you be the emotional vault where she can pour her panic without judgment? Can you stay grounded when her world turns upside down? Because if not, she'll stop trusting you emotionally. And once that happens, no amount of sex, gifts, or effort will fix it. Trust in your masculine presence is like air to her nervous system. If she can't breathe around you, she leaves you long before she actually walks away. You think she's mad at you. Nah, she's terrified you can't handle her. Most men misread the situation. They think she's nagging, overreacting, attacking them. Truth is, she's flailing, searching for safety. Not physical safety, emotional safety. She's wondering, if I show this messy part of me, will he leave? Will he shrink? Will he call me crazy? So she throws the storm at you, not to hurt you, but to see if you're big enough to weather it. Not big in muscle, big in spirit. And when you flinch, when you try to change her, when you rush to solve her, that tells her everything. You want to be rare? Learn to be the oak tree. Yeah, the oak, not the wildfire, not the tornado, not the knight rushing in to fix everything with bravado and shallow advice. The oak doesn't move. It feels the wind. It endures the rain. But its roots don't panic. That's how you become a sanctuary, not a solution. Because the rare man today, the one she craves in silence, is the one who sits across from her in her tears and says nothing. And somehow that nothing feels safer than 100 therapists. Here's the street truth most dudes never learn. When you try to interrupt her process with logic, you insult her intelligence. When you get emotional because she's emotional, you become one more fire to put out. But when you let her storm rage, and you hold your peace, like a king sharpening his sword in silence, she doesn't just respect you, she relaxes into you, because now she knows, this man can hold me, and still hold himself. That's different. That's magnetic. That's the deep masculine polarity she'll never admit out loud, but her entire body responds to it. What stillness actually looks like in practice. Let's make it tactical. When she's overwhelmed, you do this. Slow your breathing. Let her pace speed up. Yours should slow down. Drop your voice. Speak softer, slower. Let her hear her chaos bounce off your calm. Keep eye contact, or if it's too much, stay near. Proximity matters more than words. Touch her hand, her thigh, her back, but gently, with zero sexual agenda. Say less. Only speak when your words add weight, not noise. Don't explain her feelings. Let her process without commentary. You ain't trying to win. You're trying to be there without collapsing. Do that, and watch her melt into your quiet strength. You don't have to fix her mood. You just have to not flinch in it. That's all. Because the truth? She'll calm herself if she trusts that she's not alone in the process, that you're not judging her, that your energy is wide enough to contain her pain without absorbing it. Most men try to take the pain away. Real men know how to witness pain without letting it destroy their center. And when she finds that in you, you're not just her partner. You're her peace. Become the eye of the storm look. Every man wants a woman who opens up, but few men are strong enough to stand still when she actually does. You say you want her soul? Then earn it. Don't be the noise. Be the space between the noise. Don't be the reaction. Be the response. Don't be the guy who tries to stop the rain. Be the man who holds the umbrella. In silence. That's the masculine stillness she dreams of but can't describe. And if you carry that, she won't just love you. She'll trust you with parts of her she's never shown another human. Number 5. The dance of flirtation. Respectful fire, where energy speaks louder than words, and her soul responds first. Let's get one thing straight. Most men don't flirt. They perform. They throw out lines like fishing hooks, hoping to catch something. They peacock, overdo, overtalk, oversell, masking their insecurity in bravado or fake confidence. Others, they freeze, go silent, overthink every word, terrified of rejection before the first move's even made. Either way, clown or coward, pick your poison, and both get left on red. You ever see a real man flirt? It ain't loud. It ain't desperate. It sure as hell ain't creepy. It's presence. It's energy. It's that subtle pull that says, I see you, and I know exactly what I'm doing. One look, one pause, one well-placed word that makes her pause mid-sentence and smile without knowing why. That's not pickup. That's precision. Because real flirtation doesn't chase attention. It commands it, quietly. It's not about the line. It's about the charge behind it. You can say something as simple as, that color looks dangerous on you. And if your energy's off, it sounds needy, try hard, forced. But if your tone's calm, confident, and playful, that same line turns her on edge. She doesn't know why, but she starts looking at you different. Because real flirting isn't about getting a laugh. It's about shifting the air between you. It's the invisible electricity that buzzes between two people who are fully tuned in. No push, no rush. Just this subtle, magnetic back and forth. Tease. pause, smile, retreat. Let her lean in. That's the rhythm. That's the dance before the fire. Flirtation is ancient, primal, and done right. It's soul-level communication. When a man flirts with depth, here's what he's really saying. I see you. The real you. The woman behind the image. The guard. The performance. I see the parts you hide, and I'm not scared of them. That's why the right glance, the right smirk, the perfectly timed silence hits harder than any compliment ever could. You're not flattering her ego. You're whispering to her subconscious. You're triggering old codes in her body. Codes wired to respond to masculine polarity, to playful challenge, to present energy that doesn't chase but invites. She feels it in her skin, in her breath, in the way her laugh comes out a half-second late because her body's processing something deeper than a joke. Here's what most men get wrong. They confuse attention with admiration. You look at her like she's a trophy. She feels it. You flirt to get something from her. She feels that too. But when you flirt from a place of abundance, of self-contained fire, of non-neediness, she relaxes. Then she responds, because now she feels seen, not hunted, appreciated, without being pulled apart, adored, without being caged. That's the razor's edge. You're walking between admiration and objectification, confidence and arrogance, playfulness and pressure. Screw it up, and you trigger her defense systems. But walk that edge with intention. You unlock her feminine curiosity, which is 10 times more powerful than attraction. It's not about touching her body. It's about touching her mind. You want to flirt like a master? Then stop focusing on what to say. Start focusing on what she feels in your presence. Because women are intuitive creatures. They don't listen to your words. They feel your frequency. If your energy says, I'm here, I'm grounded, I don't need you, but damn, I enjoy you. That creates chemistry before you ever speak. It's not the joke you made. It's the way you paused after you said it. It's the way you let the silence sit there and burn just a little. That's not game. That's awareness. Be the mirror that plays back. Her light, not her insecurities. When you flirt, you're not trying to impress her. You're reflecting back a version of her that feels more alive, more feminine, more radiant, just because you're there. You want to make her laugh. Cool. Make her feel understood in the same moment, and you become unforgettable. Women don't remember the smoothest guys. They remember the ones who made them feel like their inner world was finally heard without them even opening up. And if you can make her feel that while teasing her gently, you just stepped into rare air. Here's the ultimate truth. The best flirtation is emotional foreplay. It's safe tension. It's controlled chaos in a velvet box. She wants to feel seen without being stripped, challenged without being attacked, desired without being reduced. She doesn't want to feel possessed. She wants to feel played with, like a violin in the hands of a skilled artist who respects every string. That's the respectful fire, the one that doesn't consume her. It awakens her. And you? You're not just some guy who makes her laugh. You become the moment she replays at 1 a.m. with a smile she can't explain. Flirt like a flame, not a flood. Floods drown. Flames warm. Flames light up the room. Flames flicker, tease, burn slow. You flirt like that, she'll follow your heat. And trust me, once she feels the man who knows how to make her laugh and think without grabbing at her, the man who walks away with confidence instead of clinging with hope, she won't forget you. Because you didn't just flirt. You made her feel like a woman again. Number 6. Physical confidence. Subtle signals matter. When presence speaks louder than words, and she feels it in her bones. You ever guide a woman through a crowd with just your hand on her back? No words, no flex, no announcement. Just that silent pressure, calm and grounded. Most won't notice it, but she will. Her whole body registers it like an encrypted signal. I'm with someone who sees me, feels me, and can move through this world without panic. That hand? That light press on the spine? It's not just touch. It's command without control. It's direction without force. It's confidence without ego. That one gesture can say more than 50 text messages and a bouquet of dead flowers ever could. Because in that moment, your body's saying, I got you. You're safe. I'll lead. And I'll never make you feel smaller for following. Welcome to the realm of physical authority, the quiet kind. Let me let you in on something most men never hear. Confidence isn't loud. It's barely visible, but always felt. And physical confidence? It isn't about dominating a room or puffing your chest. It's the way you move through space, how you take up space, with intention, the way you walk a step ahead when the vibe shifts, the way you stay calm in public chaos, the way you touch, not to get something, but to guide, reassure, connect. It's primal, it's ancient, and yeah, it's sexy as hell. But not for the reasons you think. It's not the muscles, it's not the swagger, it's the subtle alignment of your mind and body. It's the silent message. I don't flinch. You don't need to say you're safe. Your energy already told her. See, she's not just listening with her ears. She's reading your every damn movement. She's watching how your hand rests, not grabs, how your eyes land, not scan, how you stay still when things go sideways. That's what makes her body relax. That's what earns her trust without you asking for it. And here's the truth. Trust is sexy. Not that fake safety, that you can tell me anything, without real backbone. I mean that deep nervous system level trust that only shows up when she feels, without a word, that you're the one who handles chaos, so she can exhale for once. It's the small signals that tell the biggest truths. You don't need to touch her every second. You just need to show her, in the way you exist beside her, that she's not alone in this world. That hand on her back in a loud room, she'll remember it. That soft pressure on her knee when she gets lost in her head, she'll lean into it. That casual, grounded presence when you sit beside her, close enough to touch, but with no pressure to prove or escalate. That hits different. Why? Because it tells her, I'm not here to take, I'm just here. And that kind of still, unbothered masculine energy, it's like emotional heroin to a woman who's spent her life dodging boys who want something from her. Here's what you gotta understand. Her body is reading your intent, not just your moves. You try to make a move too soon, she reads that energy before you even reach. You get stiff and overthink it, she picks that up too. But when you move with clarity, with ownership of your space and hers, with zero neediness, she lets you in, physically and emotionally, because now she's not defending. Now she's feeling. And what she's feeling is you. Not your words, not your game. You, raw, intentional, masculine. Masculine presence is physical, emotional, and spiritual, all at once. That's why a simple act like sitting next to her without grabbing her, without leaning in awkwardly, without making a move like a high schooler with something to prove. That act alone says, I'm whole already. I don't need to impress you. I'm just here, and I like you. You ever see a wolf just exist near its mate? No rush, no performance, just energy, protective, watchful, and still. That's the energy women melt into. That's what creates emotional safety before the first kiss ever happens. Real power is quiet. It's felt. It's transmitted. So here's the game most men never play. What if your body language did all the talking? What if you didn't chase her with words, but instead pulled her in with how you moved, how you placed your hand, how you stood near her in silence and let her feel your steadiness? You think that doesn't matter? Let me tell you, when she's choosing between you and the louder guy, she'll remember the one who made her feel grounded, the one who didn't rush, the one who didn't talk about being different. He showed it, and all it took was a hand, a glance, a well-timed pause that said, "You're safe now. You can stop pretending." Final hit. Move like you've been here before. You want to be unforgettable? Don't just say the right things. Embody the right rhythm. Move through rooms like a man who protects without possessiveness. Touch like someone who doesn't flinch at intimacy. Stand still when others scramble. Speak with your energy, not just your voice. You do that, you don't just attract her, you awaken her. And in a world full of noise, that makes you the signal. Number 7. The courage to be vulnerable. Why hiding who you are starves the connection you secretly crave. Let's get something straight. You've been lied to. They told you that being open makes you soft, that showing emotion makes you weak, that if you let her see your flaws, she'll walk away or lose respect. So you armored up, stayed silent, kept it all locked behind the look, the routine, the calm tone, and you thought that was strength. But truth is, that silence you call control is killing your connection, not just with her, but with yourself. She wants your strength, but she's starving for your story, not the polished one, not the "I've got everything handled" speech. She wants the raw blueprint, the real voice behind your eyes when you're up late wondering if you're enough, the dreams that scare you, the failures that shaped you, the parts of you no one else gets access to, because that's the you that matters. She already sees the surface, but she's trying to figure out if you'll ever trust her enough to show her the basement. And here's the kicker. If you never do, she'll assume there's nothing real down there. Most men think vulnerability is about emotional oversharing. It's not. It's not dumping your problems on her like a therapy session. It's not crying every week to prove you're in touch with your feelings. And it sure as hell ain't trauma bonding. Vulnerability is selective transparency, strategic, intentional, earned. It's you saying, "Look, I've been through fire. I've got scars. I've got doubts. But I'm still standing. And I'm not ashamed of where I've been." That's what makes her respect you. Not your money, not your muscles, not your mood board, your honest humanity. You think hiding your truth protects you, but it starves her. Let that hit. When you bury your pain, your vision, your fears, your past, you think you're building safety. What you're actually doing, you're blocking the very intimacy she's craving. She doesn't want perfection. She wants depth. She wants to sit across from you and feel that what you're showing her is real, even if it's messy, especially if it's messy. Because when you open that door, even just a crack, she sees something in you that no amount of swagger can fake. Authenticity. That's the trigger. That's what makes her lean in instead of pulling back. You don't need to perform. You need to reveal. There's a moment in every relationship, silent, subtle, but pivotal, where she starts wondering, is this man real? Or is this just another front with a heartbeat? You want to pass that test? Tell her something you've never told anyone. Not to impress, not to shock, but just to say, "Here, this is part of who I am." Maybe it's the loss you never processed. Maybe it's the pressure you carry but don't speak about. Maybe it's the dream you're chasing quietly because You're afraid to fail publicly. Say it. Not loud, not dramatic, just honest. Because when she hears that, when she sees the man behind the armor, that's when she starts trusting you. And once a woman trusts you emotionally, everything else, attraction, loyalty, connection, grows tenfold. But vulnerability takes more than courage. It takes boundaries. This ain't about emotionally bleeding on her every week. You still lead, you still protect. But you're not pretending to be bulletproof. Stoicism doesn't mean being silent. It means being so secure in yourself that you can share your truth without needing approval. Seneca said it best: we suffer more in imagination than in reality. And most men, they imagine vulnerability will ruin everything, that she'll walk out the second you open up. But what usually happens? She walks in closer. Because you gave her something no one else gave her. Access. You don't lose respect by opening up. You lose it by being a ghost. You stay in that surface-level script too long. She disconnects. She stops asking deeper questions. She stops sharing too. Because if you won't go there, why should she? That's how relationships die quietly. Not from screaming, but from two people talking every day and still feeling miles apart. But when you break that silence, when you say, yeah, I carry some shot, but I'm not hiding from it. Now she knows. You're not just a partner. You're a man she can build with. Not a highlight reel. Not a curated image. A fucking human. Here's what it really takes. Be honest about where you've been. Be clear about where you're going. Be strong enough to say, some days I doubt myself. Be still enough to own it without shame. Because the man who can stand in his truth without apologizing for it, that's rare. That's irresistible. And that's unforgettable. You don't have to bleed. You just have to be real. This world is full of masks, full of men faking it for the likes, the status, the validation. But women, real women, are starving for substance. You become the man who can hold eye contact and say something vulnerable without flinching. She'll remember that moment forever. Not because you broke down, but because you let her in. And that's where trust is born, where intimacy breathes, where love actually starts. Number 8. The quiet hero. Standing up without raising your voice. How real men protect without barking and earn respect without noise. Let's be real. This world's full of noise. Loud men, loud threats, loud boys acting like alphas. But the truth? Real strength doesn't need a spotlight. It doesn't come in swinging fists or Instagram rants. It doesn't yell to be heard. It doesn't puff its chest to prove something. It just moves with purpose, with edge, with a kind of calm danger behind the eyes that says, I'll only speak when I have to, and when I do, something's about to shift. And that's the kind of energy that makes her feel safe. Safe in a way she doesn't even have to explain. Protection isn't about dominance. It's about presence. You think protection means being the toughest guy in the room? Nah. It means being the one person who doesn't flinch when shade hits the fan. When someone disrespects her, you don't explode. You step up, calm, controlled, certain. When life hits her hard, you don't panic or pity her. You hold her down with silence, strategy, and steel in your eyes. Because protection isn't about volume. It's about vibe. You become that unspoken promise in human form. I won't let anything break you. Not while I'm breathing. And the craziest part? She won't always say she needs that. But her nervous system feels it instantly. Women aren't just reading your words. They're scanning your spirit. You walk into a room with her, and someone starts talking slick. She's not waiting for you to throw hands. She's watching how you stand, how you look, how you carry silence. She's checking. Does this man fold when things get uncomfortable? Does he run when things get hot? Or does he lean in with stoic composure, like a calm storm waiting to detonate if need be? You say nothing. Your jaw locks. Your energy tightens like a coiled spring, but you don't release it. She feels that. And now, she doesn't have to look around for safety, because it's already beside her. But here's the difference. You don't act out of pride. You act out of principle. Immature men chase conflict to feed their egos. They pop off at every disrespect, not to protect her, but to be seen, to feel big, to flex like they're something. But that's not protection. That's performance. The real protectors, they act only when needed, not to show power, but to reaffirm a code. And the code is simple. I don't let people I love feel unprotected. Period. Not because you're insecure, because you're responsible. That's the word most men fear. But it's the word that makes a woman trust you on a cellular level. You protect with your voice, your silence, your body, and your choices. Sometimes protection means stepping in when someone crosses a line. Other times, it means keeping your cool when she's losing hers, so she doesn't feel like she has to be strong all the time. Sometimes it's in public. Sometimes it's in private. It's the way you look the server in the eye when they treat her like she's invisible. It's the way you remind her of her worth when she doubts it. It's how you move in the world like she's already covered, even when she doesn't ask. You don't have to shout, "I got you." She feels it. It's baked into your walk, your tone, your silence, your calm readiness. And protection doesn't always look like defense. Sometimes it looks like discipline. It's protecting her from your own darkness too. The part of you that wants to lash out when you're angry. The side of you that's tempted to betray when she's not watching. The old patterns you learned from broken men that want to bleed into how you love. You shield her from that too. You don't just protect her from the world. You protect her from yourself, from the boy you used to be, from the wounds you're still healing. And when she sees that quiet strength, that controlled fire, she relaxes, because now she knows you're not just strong, you're safe. You don't have to posture. You just have to stand firm. Protection isn't about knowing how to fight. It's about knowing what you stand for. And when a woman feels that from you, not words but energy, she stops bracing herself for life, because she finally feels like someone's got her back, who won't break when tested. You become her emotional bulletproof vest, not because she can't handle herself, but because now she doesn't have to do it alone. That rewires her nervous system. That hits deeper than "I love you." That speaks to primal safety. Be the wall she can lean on, not the storm she has to survive. She doesn't want to be rescued. She wants to be reinforced. And that starts with presence, with the strength to act when needed, without trying to be seen doing it. You say nothing. You do everything, like a ghost with armor. And if someone crosses the line, you don't bark. You don't break down. You move, decisively, deliberately, and with that quiet "don't fuss with mine" energy. And now, she doesn't have to look around for safety. She just looks at you, because you are the safety. Number 9. When she dresses boldly or touches, more often. Listen, because she's not always gonna say, "I want you," but she's gonna show it, loud as hell. Here's what most men never understand. A woman rarely comes out and says, "I want you." Not because she's scared, not because she's playing games, because in her world, her language, her psychology, her wiring, wanting is shown, not spoken. If you wait for her to say it directly, you're already late, because women speak in signs, not scripts. And if you know how to read them, you unlock a version of her that most men never even get a glimpse of. Let's break it down. The clues are subtle, but they're never random. She steps out wearing that outfit that hits different. A little bolder, a little riskier, a little more skin, more curve, more energy than usual. You think it's just fashion? No, my guy. That's a signal. That's her saying, "Do you still see me like you used to? Am I still fire to you? Or have I faded into background noise?" And if your eyes don't catch that, if your energy doesn't respond, you just failed a test you didn't even know you were taking. It's not just about the outfit, it's the vibe underneath it. She's checking if you're awake, if you're present, if you can still spot the shift in her glow. Same goes for touch. Suddenly, she's brushing past you more often, sitting closer, playfully hitting your arm, fixing your shirt collar, asking how she looks, then asking again 5 minutes later. You think that's casual? Number. That's a breadcrumb trail. And if you're too wrapped in your head, in your phone, in your routine to follow it, she notices, and she stops leaving clues. Women communicate desire through nuance because they've had to. Understand this. A woman can't just walk around saying, "I want this man." Not in a world where that kind of openness often gets punished, labeled, or misunderstood. So she learned to express it without words. Through presence, through rhythm, through energy shifts. And your job? Pick it. Upper. You say you're masculine? You say you're aware? Then learn how to see beneath the surface. This is next-level attraction. Psychological warfare through softness. That bolder outfit? That random hair flip? That sudden interest in your day, your mood, your body language. Those aren't coincidences. Those are emotional invitations disguised as small talk. She's asking in code, "Do I still excite you? Is your attention still mine? Would you still choose me if no one was watching?" If your response is weak, lazy, unmoved, you send her a message louder than words. "You're invisible to me now." And nothing shuts a woman down faster than feeling unseen when she's trying to be seen. But this ain't about being thirsty. It's about being attuned. Here's what most dudes get wrong. They either ignore it or they pounce on it too hard. You see her dressed up and suddenly you're all over her. Grabbing, pushing, trying to escalate with no awareness, no finesse. You just turned a moment of magic into a moment of pressure. Because she doesn't want to feel devoured. She wants to feel desired, with depth, desired with intention. Not because she showed skin, but because you saw her light. That's where most men fall flat. They compliment her curves, but not her courage. They touch her waist, but not her confidence. And that's what she really dressed up for. Here's how a real one handles it. You see the bold outfit? You pause, smile slow, lock eyes, say something layered. "Damn, that's a dangerous color on you." You're making the air in here feel different tonight. You feel her getting closer? Don't just touch back. Match her rhythm. Mirror her vibe without overpowering it. She asks how she looks. Don't just say, "Beautiful." Say something like, "You wear that like you know what you're doing." Because that tells her. You see the intention, not just the surface. Now she feels felt, not just looked at. That's what earns trust and keeps attraction alive. You've got to walk the razor's edge. On one side, ignore her signals, and she thinks you're blind, boring, unplugged. On the other side, overdo it, and she thinks you're another desperate mouth breather. Walk that middle path with presence, playfulness, and poise. You become rare, You become the man who sees her shifts before she even names them. And that's unforgettable. She wants to be wanted, but respected in the wanting. You don't worship her. You admire. You observe. You say just enough to light a flame, but not enough to burn the room down. She needs to feel that she can be bold and safe doing it, that she can initiate softness, and you won't take it as permission to steamroll her boundaries. And if you give her that kind of space, she leans in with more than just her body. She brings you her soul. Number 10. The Darkside bonus. She'll seek casual touch. When she wants deep intimacy, because the real invitation is never obvious, it's hidden in the lightest touch. Here's something they never teach you in school, in locker rooms, or in red pill forums. When a woman starts touching you casually, she ain't just playing. She's probing. Not your body, your awareness. See, men tend to think everything starts with a move. Should I hold her hand? Is it the right time to kiss? Do I wait or just go for it? But she already made the first move. You just missed it. Because women don't start intimacy with their words. They start it with casual touch. Light, playful, disguised. But if you can read it right, it's louder than a moan in a quiet room. It starts with a graze, a laugh, a shift closer. She's not throwing herself at you. She's checking if your energy is awake. She brushes your arm when she laughs, not by accident, but on purpose. She sits closer than she needs to, knees brushing. She touches your back when she walks past, lingers for half a second longer than a friend would. You think that's coincidence? No, bro. That's a signal, and not a sexual one, an emotional one. She's saying, I want to feel if I'm safe here, before I give you more of me. And here's where 95% of men go wrong. They either ignore it completely, or they pounce on it like it's consent. Both moves kill the vibe. Both show her you're not attuned to her pace. But if you feel it, if you don't react, but you register it, you just passed one of the most powerful and secret tests of female intimacy. Women are brave in quiet, dangerous ways. You think it takes guts to walk up and spit game? Try touching someone when you're unsure if you'll be received. Try showing closeness when every past experience told you it might be misread. Try opening your body when your heart's been dropped before. That's what she's doing. Every light touch is her soul saying, I want to get closer, but I need to know if this space is sacred or selfish. She's not touching you because she's desperate. She's touching you because she's tuning into your energy. Is this man present? Can he read subtlety? Is he grounded? Is he safe? Not just physically, but spiritually? If the answer is no, she shuts down, withdraws, pretends it never happened. But if the answer is yes, you unlock an intimacy most men never even see coming. Touch is her nervous system's audition tape. The way she grazes your hand. That's not flirting. That's checking if her nervous system can trust yours. She wants to feel. Will he lean in or stay patient? Will he jump on it like a boy or hold space like a man? Will he respect the energy under the touch or just try to turn it into a moment for himself? And if you fail that test, it's not that she gets mad. She just leaves the moment. Emotionally, energetically, sexually. Now she knows you're not who she hoped you were. But if you respect it, match the pace, let the vibe breathe, she relaxes, she leans in, she chooses you with more than just her body. She gives you access to the deeper layers, the emotional interior of a woman that no amount of physical escalation can ever unlock. Touch is how she knocks on the door. Presence is how you let her in. You don't need to escalate. You need to recognize. That graze on your arm, isn't an invitation to act. It's an invitation to notice, to slow down, to breathe with her, to let her know, with your vibe, not your hands. I felt that. I'm here. And I ain't rushing it. Because now she doesn't feel like prey. She feels safe to reveal more. Not just skin, but softness, curiosity, depth. That kind of trust is rare. And you only get it when you pass the test she never says out loud. Here's what real masculine patience looks like. She touches you once. You don't react. You just glance, with a smirk that says, I felt that. She sits closer. You shift slightly to mirror it, but keep your frame calm, relaxed, present. She grazes your knee. You let your energy respond without your body overstepping. That's next-level control. That's emotional seduction. That's dominance without aggression. And it tells her, I'm not here to take anything. I'm here to feel everything. And I'm moving at your nervous system's pace, not my ego's. That, unforgettable. Don't chase the loud yes. Learn to read the quiet maybe. The guys who always wait for green lights are too late. The guys who rush the yellow lights get blocked. But the guy who recognizes the soft shift in atmosphere, he becomes the one she chooses to open to. Because he doesn't just want her body. He wants her entire frequency. And he's willing to sit in the space before the fire catches, letting her feel safe enough to pour gasoline when she's ready. Final hit. Real intimacy starts with the subtle signals. You think it's about moves? Nah. It's about micro moments. The kind you miss when you're distracted. The kind you overlook when you're outcome focused. The kind you ruin when you move too fast. So next time she touches you, laughs just a little longer, moves just a little closer, don't act. Just feel it. Acknowledge it. Internally. Hold it like a secret. Let it unfold. Because if you can handle that soft signal with quiet strength, you become the man she trusts, with everything louder. Final thought. Become the man she can lean into. Let's make this clear. This isn't a manipulation guide. This isn't about seduction. It's about becoming a high-value man, a stoic lover, who knows how to see into the silent spaces. You don't need to impress her. You need to understand her. Feel her without flinching. Hold space without trembling. The kind of man who doesn't just make her body react. He stills her storm and awakens her soul. If this hits something deep in you, subscribe to Darkside Demeanor. Comment below with one word, awakened. Because we're not building surface-level men here. We're forging warriors of presence, introverts with fire, lovers with backbone. Welcome to the dark side of awareness. We've been waiting for you.